Getting started. I'm Mitch Goldberg. Thank you so much for joining me. It means a lot to me. You're watching Be the Boss of Your Money. This is my live stream where we talk about in-depth personal finance, investing, business talk, and so many other important topics that fall under that broad umbrella. So I want to talk to you today about the market. The stock market gets back to its winning ways, but more importantly, what does this mean for you, for the economy going forward? Janet Yellen is back. Do you remember that name? She used to be the chairwoman, chairperson of the Federal Reserve. She was then replaced with Jerome Powell, also known as Jay Powell, by President Trump. And now it looks like she's coming back as Secretary of the Treasury. She's 74 years old. Why would she want to be Secretary of Treasury at this point? Well, she must love what she does. She does. I can tell you, I think she does. Well, yeah, I can tell you what I think all the time. But she has been one of the most well-regarded people in the financial world ever. So to have her back in some form of leadership in the upcoming Biden administration says a lot. It is very soothing for investors. The market was already up before the news was announced, but I think the news, I started seeing it make some rounds earlier in the day. But even last night, though, when I went to bed about 12 o'clock last night, the futures, S&P futures, were already indicating a positive open today. But the market went up, rallied this morning up about 200, started to back off, and it looked like maybe it's not going to be such a good end to the day. But when the news finally made it to around all the big wires, all the media outlets, stocks wound up having a very good day. But it was not all inclusive. Those big tech stocks we talk about, FANG, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Alphabet, Netflix, Microsoft, they were down today, yet the market still was able to rally. That's a very bullish indicator, and the VIX continues to go lower. So let's just roll the introduction real quick introductory, and then we are going to get into this. If you're watching this live and you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. That's the best part, is when you ask questions in the comments, I get to answer them. We get to talk back and forth. That is, to me, the absolute best part of doing this. And that's where I think I provide the most value for you. So hit me up with questions. If you happen to watch this in the replay, go ahead and ask me your questions in the replay as if you're watching this, in the live stream. And I'll definitely see the questions and I'll answer you in the comments. All right. So here we go. All right, let's make this brief. I want to thank you. You are joining me. I'm Mitch Goldberg. You're watching Be the Boss of Your Money, which is what I call my live stream about personal finance, investing tips, and business talk, and so many other topics that fall underneath that big, broad umbrella. If you're watching this in the live stream, welcome. Hit me up with any questions you have in the comments. I'd love to answer them. If you're watching this in the replay, welcome to you as well. And definitely hit me up with your questions, okay? So let's get into this. Stocks were up today. Not a bad day. The S&P was off about 0.7% last week. We had a nice little rebound of almost about up 0.56% today. So, the market, the beat continues. There is the finally getting to the feeling that we're really getting past any election controversy. I don't think there's anyone who doubts that Biden is the president-elect, and now he's putting together his cabinet. And I think part of this is the market breathes a sigh of relief. Investors breathe a sigh of relief that uncertainty is passed by. It's gone. He's putting his cabinet together, a Secretary of State, a very well-known individual in the world of foreign affairs for the United States. But Janet Yellen for Treasury Secretary, that's a pretty big deal. And it's considered a pick that is, it's not too controversial. She was already confirmed to be head of the Federal Reserve by both Republicans and Democrats when President Obama appointed her. So she should sail right through the confirmation process. And she's a pretty middle of the road individual. Doesn't really get too into the partisan stuff. Just really a guide for the economy. So as Treasury of this Secretary of the Treasury, she's an excellent choice, and investors love that. What else is going on? Well, the big thing is another Monday, another COVID vaccine announcement. So this is the third Monday in a row that a COVID vaccine was announced. This time it's AstraZeneca in conjunction with Oxford University, and they have a vaccine. It's not 95% effective, but it's about 90% effective. But it could be stored in a refrigerator for up to 6 months. So it's a lot easier to manufacture. It's easy to distribute. You could send it on a boat on a 2-month boat trip across the Atlantic Ocean, to Africa, and it'll stay well preserved. It's like $3 a dose. So that really is considered the real game changer. And we are expecting an announcement from Johnson and Johnson. That'll be number 4. And there are others coming out. I know this sounds crazy, but people are trying to game the market based on buying stocks that are coming out with vaccines. And although Moderna stock had a big pop, I think these big pops might be done. I can't say will be done. I think they will. I think they might be done, because it's like we might actually be getting to the point of like an actual glut of vaccines, like too many vaccines. And all of these vaccines can be manufactured pretty quickly, for like 100 million plus doses. So we could really see a major ramp up in, I think we will see a major ramp up in available vaccines. And, the optimism is that, yes, the winter is going to be pretty bad, but we'll start seeing vaccines distributed by the end of this year. I mean, we're pretty close to the end of this year. So when I say by the end of this year, we're talking 5 weeks away. And then they ramp up into January, February, and March. So that's the real deal today. And then you have Janet Yellen, election uncertainty passing us by. Biden wants to hit the ground running. As far as investors are concerned, a lot of hurdles have been cleared by now. And it allows you to really focus on the stocks that we've been talking about, the sectors that we've been talking about, economically sensitive sectors like industrials, financials, consumer discretionary, and energy. Let's take a look at today's action and make sure you are making the right moves. Got all the right moves. Oh, yeah. Cha-cha. Yeah, I just did that on live stream. Cha-cha. Yeah. I got all the right moves, baby. Okay. So the Dow up over 300 points. S&P up 0.5%. The NASDAQ was the loser of the day. It's, we're used to seeing the NASDAQ always being the winner of the day. Today was barely up 25 points, 0.2%. Russell 2000 was up, the winner of the day. Why? Because that's small cap stocks. Small cap stocks, they're more subject to the domestic economy. Smaller companies get most of their revenues domestically. And the VIX continues to come down to 22. The line in the sand for the VIX was under 30, then under 25. We had a correction about a month ago, right before the election. And the VIX went back to the low 30s. Now it's back down to the low 20s. We see this baby get below 20. And that to me is a real clear signal to get into those economically sensitive stocks, even more so. I think it would just be another boost, another continuation. Let's take a look here. This is the big news. Biden chooses former Fed Chair Janet Yellen to be Treasury Secretary. We spoke all about that, but basically, if you're a market participant, you have to like that. She could be what I would call her is a reasonable dove. Okay, but here's some of the winners. Look at this: American Airlines up over 8%. Boeing, That's a stock we've been talking about, because they're so tied into the economy, biggest manufacturing company in the country, up 11, almost $12, over $200 a share solidly. Um, Oshkosh, they make heavy duty trucks, not just, it's not the children's clothing Oshkosh, like Oshkosh Bagosh. Textron up 3%, but overall a good day for industrials. And it's a good day for the energy. Okay. Energy, another economically sensitive group. Occidental Petroleum, double digits. Murphy, EOG, Marathon Oil, Conoco. These are, look at these numbers: 7% up, Hess up 7%, Schlumberger up 7%, Exxon up 6.5%, Chevron up over 6%. These are big numbers. Chevron was just, in the low to mid 70s like 2.5 weeks ago. These are big, big moves. And then you take a look at the financials, and I've said this many times. You really want to see financials do well. Banks are the central nervous system of the economy. When it comes to expanding credit, making loans, mortgages, it's all going through the banks. So Morgan Stanley had a real good day. It's been getting beaten up a little bit. So that had a really good day, up 4.5%. PayPal, I call that more fintech. I have that with the financials. It's more fintech, but it still is related to financials. Wells Fargo had a good day. That's good for them. Good for you, Wells Fargo. After the way you cheated your customers, millions and millions of people, that your stock could actually go up in this market. Good for you, Wells Fargo. Yeah. But you did get rid of that horrible CEO stump. And you are putting your problems behind you. And this is not a knock against a couple of my very good friends who are Wells Fargo financial advisors, who I think are decent people. That's why we're friends. But good for you, Wells Fargo, the big bank. After really screwing people over, you finally are able to get that past you with the account scandal, and the stock could start to finally go up. Amex, AIG, JP Morgan. Look, you remember that stock was, in the 80s and 90s for so long. Now it's almost 120. But here's something that's going to maybe surprise you. Look at this. All of a sudden, there's red on the screen. Look at that. Facebook down. Apple down. Can you believe it? Amazon, only off a little, but still down. Netflix is down. Google down. Alphabet. I know the name of Google is really Alphabet, but they kept the Google stock symbol. But people still call it Google, so I'll roll with it. So here's Google down. Microsoft down. What's amazing, what's awesome, what is so heartfelt. Let me stop sharing the screen. What is so good about this, the goodness, is that stocks were able to rally in spite of losing the leadership of the big six. Bullish day, economically sensitive. And I'm sure an analyst say time to get cyclical. I've been talking about getting cyclical for the last couple of months here. I have to have a new song. Let's get cyclical. I know. I'm bombing right now. I know. I'm just not crushing the comedy thing. I have to brush up on my comedy. We've got a couple of comments, so let's see who's out here. Okay. You are so good, man. Keith Wilson. Yeah, go Mitch. Thank you, buddy. Folks, if you are not following Keith Wilson, connect with him on LinkedIn. You're missing out. He's got the heart of a teacher. He is so warm. He's such a warm human being. Smart. He's been doing this, what I do, even a little longer than I've been doing it. So he's got experience. And, he teaches it away with humor. It's not all humor. A lot of his videos are just straight out talking about Medicare or, tax-free investing, IRAs. Follow Keith. Connect with him on LinkedIn. He puts out such great content. Thank you so much, Keith. It is an honor and a privilege when my peers join me, as I know you feel the same way. Okay, so that's really the big story for today is the market's continuing its winning days. It kind of makes personal finance a lot easier when the stock market's going up because everything's working. But we mustn't forget tax law changes coming up. Biden's tax plans, we've talked about that here. They're still very what's the word? They're not. They don't have a lot of depth in them yet. There's not a lot of detail yet, so it's tough to say what's going to happen in terms of how he may change taxes. I know, yes, he wants to raise the corporate tax rate and give a lot of goodies to middle class and lower income people, but we have to see how things are going to change if they're going to actually change capital gains. I think some of the things that the progressives really want. I think Biden is aware that they're just not going to work their way through Congress. And I think he seems reasonable enough to say, if I don't think something can work its way through Congress, I'm not even going to propose it. That's the problem today with politics. One side or the other comes out with a bill that they know the other side's going to reject so that each side can then beat each other over the head with that bill. Where it used to be, you kind of Congress, members in the House, they got together on the side and they just did a little horse trading, figured out what they could do, what they can't get away with. They worked with the Senate to see if it could pass. And then they proposed legislation that actually has a chance to work for the people. We need to see that again. Make Congress great again. Okay. Was it ever great? Well, it was definitely better. Make Congress better again. Okay. So, folks, I'd like to thank you so much. We will talk to you tomorrow. I've got a message for tomorrow, and it's going to be the difference between results oriented people and process oriented people. There's a huge distinction, and I'm going to share with you all of the things that I wish I knew 30 years ago. See you tomorrow. Thanks.